We have details of these and more stories coming your way in the next 20 minutes. The bulletin is live on DSTV, channel 279. We take the details now. Parliament has approved a bill aimed at promoting human sexual rights and family values, commonly referred to as the Anti-LGBTQ Bill. The legislation prohibits lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender activities and criminalizes their promotion, advocacy and funding in the country. Under the new law, individuals engaged in such activities could face imprisonment ranging from 6 months to 3 years, while promoters and sponsors of such acts could be sentenced to 3 to 5 years in jail.
Mr. Speaker, I humbly pray that you grant me leave, which leave would allow me to formally file some amendments I have to this bill. But the sponsors themselves again and again filed amendments. Please, let's be fair. The sponsors themselves...
Ignore them, make your point.
The sponsors themselves again and again filed amendments. Please hear me. Please accommodate me. I'm not the only one who is coming with an application for second consideration. This is the third time that the sponsors themselves have come to this house for second consideration. The third time. Twice on notice, one without notice. So, Mr. Speaker, it wouldn't be out of place to pray, to be accommodated, to enable me file my amendments. Mr. Speaker, I believe that instead of going viva voce, instead of using the extempore approach, if I file and its same appear on the other paper, and members are able to read, they will get a sense of my point. And then we'll be able to have a law that all of us would appreciate its import. Mr. Speaker, should we hurriedly suspend the rules and say that we are past it?
Speaker, our colleague, the majority leader, just asked for a prayer. In the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3, the Bible says that to everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under the heaven. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. And I believe the time for the third reading of this bill is now. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Put the question.
I'm going to put the question. I'm going to put the question that the motion has been moved and seconded. And I left it for your consideration. You've made your point. And it's not for me to take the decision, it's for the House to take the decision. And so I put the question. Those in favor that the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2021 be taken through the third reading, say aye. Aye. Those against, say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2021 is read the third time and passed.
An act to provide for human sexual rights and family values and related matters.
We hear the street of Accra to gather public opinions on the bill's passage.
It's very good because they cannot practice, we cannot allow this thing to go on in our country. In the Bible, the Sodom and Gomorrah, those people that did that, what was the results at the end? You know, it inherited cases and so many other issues. I think when the police take this measure, it will let even that crime come down.
About the bill being passed, I think I'm happy about it because there are penalties aligned to that. So victims being caught towards that should be jailed because that is the wish.
I'm happy because like ego, it will help you. You not put oneself for this thing inside the lesbian and then homosexual this thing. Yeah.
To me, I think it's a good idea. It's a good idea because as Ghanaians, considering Ghana as a Christian nation, I don't think we have to indulge in such activities in Ghana. Yeah.
If they see them, they should arrest them. Yeah, and impossible to that.
Away from that, traditional leaders of Gomuafete in the central region have justified the demolition of the Liberia refugee camp at Budumbram, which they claim has outlived its usefulness. The exercise was deemed necessary due to the increasing frequency of criminal and other deviant activities within the enclave. George Quaining reports the exercise has significantly impacted educational activities in the area.
The demolition continues until the last structure on the Budumbram camp is pulled down. As you can see, protests by occupants of structures yet to be demolished cannot prevent the exercise. Schools are often the first place people seek refuge in such situations. Budumbram Point Hope DA Basic School is now offering shelter to the affected individuals.
Imagine Ghanaians in this country. Can you give somebody 800 cedi? You say stay and be integrated in Ghana. Now, if you are demolishing my parents, where do I go to school? How do I get prepared in the morning and come to school? It's not possible. So I think GS can find another alternative. And again, this place was built by us. See the structures. Is there GS structures here? We ourselves built it. So if there's any problem, they're who's supposed to come.
Following the UN's withdrawal of recognition of the area as a refugee camp, the 1951 Convention Cessation Clause led to some Liberians being repatriated and others integrated. The Roberts were part of the over 3,000 Liberian households who applied for the repatriation and integration package, receiving $400 in compensation and assistance with residence permits. Abigail Robert, a 16-year-old final year junior high school student, has lived at the camp with her family for 23 years.
I don't think I can go to school right now. If I go to school, my mind will not be at ease and I can't pay attention to what the teacher will be teaching. All my mind will be on what they are doing and where I will be sleeping and my safety.
Her school teacher is deeply concerned about her current situation and that of other students.
Around 12 people were outside, children were outside, and even it has also affected schools. There are government schools which have been closed down. I think there are about 4 schools that have been closed down today because of this.
But the Ghana Refugee Board is only willing to assist Liberian refugees who were exempted during the cessation clause implementation due to their unique circumstances.
As you know, Budumbram is not a refugee camp and has not been a refugee camp for a long time. We have given the option for those who are still refugees, and that's only those who are still refugees, to be relocated to another place. We have 2 camps in the western region, and those are the camps that we can resettle or relocate them to.
Traditional leaders of Gomuafete justify the demolition.
See what is happening here. This place, especially, this place uncultured is going on rapidly. They are killing people here, doing things which, in fact, it's not even hygienic to them. The Gomuafete stool like itself. So we are appealing to government. What we are doing here is for all of us. We are doing for all of the Ghanaians, not for only Fetes to land. And we are not ready to sell this land. We are clearing this place and we give it to government himself and then develop this area.
Another scope of the conversation is a relation between Ghana and Liberia, which some Liberians lament could be under threat.
When you are a refugee, when your country becomes stable, you are all returned. Unless you are able to seek citizenship of the host country. If you have not sought that, the country has every right at any point in time to repatriate. because it has implications for the economy, for social setups and whatnot. Here, the Budumburan residents are refugees to start with. So they go under refugee laws, internally and externally. So I don't think this one should bring Liberians against Ghanaians who are there. That would be criminal, an act.
Here at Budumburam, there are persons documented as Liberians living in Ghana, and they are, legal Liberian refugees, and there are also Ghanaians living here as quarters. Until that segregation is done, it will be very difficult to have an immediate human intervention. George Quaden, TV3 News, Budumburam.
Come with me to the court now, because the Supreme Court has dismissed a suit filed by investigative journalist Anas Arimiya against Asante Central Member of Parliament Kennedy Agyapong in a 3-2 majority decision. The ace investigative journalist filed a motion to quash a High Court's judgment in his 25 million cedi defamation case against the legislator. My colleague Lord Eduosari has more.
In June 2018, the investigative journalist dragged the Asante Central legislator to court for defaming him and further prayed the court to award a cost of 25 million Ghana cedis. But the court, presided over by Justice Eric Barr, dismissed his suit, indicating that he could not prove his case, and awarded a cost of 50,000 Ghana cedis against Anas Arimiya. Displeased with the outcome, the investigative journalist filed a motion at the Supreme Court to quash the decision of the High Court. He explained that the presiding judge acted beyond his jurisdiction by using certain words on the applicants in the judgment. By ruling on the case, the Apex Court in a 3-2 majority decision dismissed Anas's motion. The 5-member panel of the court was chaired by Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu, Justice Amadou Tanko, and Justice Emmanuel Yoni Kulendi dissented, while the Chief Justice, Justices Henrietta Mensah Bonsu and Samuel Sedu, were on the majority side of the decision. Lawyer for Kennedy Agyapong spoke to the media after the judgment.
This was an application called sexual right. It's a prerogative right. Praying for another to set aside the judgment of the High Court, a 70-page judgment on the basis of what? Bias, and with that jurisdiction. A court of competent jurisdiction such as the High Court has delivered a 70-page judgment. And you bring such a frivolous application here before this court. So what the court did was in the right direction. Simply dismissed the application.
The court added that the reasoning of its decision will be made available by March 4. Lord Eduosari, TV3 News, Accra.
Still at the Apex Court, and it has dismissed a suit seeking to end child streetism filed by advocacy group Child Rights International. Executive Director of the group, Bright Appear, in his suit indicated that by allowing streetism to fester, government was breaching constitutional provisions for children. Lord Eduosari reports again.
The 7-member panel, presided over by Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu, indicated in her ruling that although Child Rights International had a genuine case, they did not invoke the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court and urged the lawyers to come again. Reacting to the ruling, Executive Director of the group, Bright Appear, expressed disappointment.
We were hoping for a good outcome, and surely we didn't expect it to go this way, but whatever it is, we still have respect for the Supreme Court and their decisions, and then we also abide by it. I strongly believe that there is merit in the substantive case that needs to be looked at so that we can protect our children, and this is a very important case for us, so we're not going to stop now, depending on how the judgment is. So when the lawyers are done studying it, we will see the way forward.
Relief sought by Child Rights International included an order directed at the government to define by law penalties for family members, local government units, and schools that did not guarantee the protection of rights of children in street situations. An order directed at the government to define by law penalties for child exploitation for begging or other forms of economic exploitation, to punish all those who may try to benefit or ordered money from children's work, among others. Lord Eduosari, TV3 News, Accra.
This is your Election Command Center. Let's talk elections now. The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has raised concerns about the NDC's vision for the country's future, stating that their ideas lack clarity. The New Patriotic Party flag bearer cites the NDC's John Mahama's promise of free Wi-Fi in educational institutions when the policy is being implemented by the current administration. Dr. Bawumia emphasized the NPP's clear vision for the nation's future at the inauguration of the NPP campaign and manifesto teams for the December 7 general elections.
The new Patriotic Party flag bearer, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, inaugurated the teams calling on members to own the campaign at the local level across the over 40,000 polling stations around the country.
If anybody thinks they don't have work to do, then maybe there's a mistake, because we have more work than we have people. So please, we need to make sure everybody is engaged and involved. I want you all to rest assured that if we all pull together, by the grace of God, it is possible. We are going to win 2024.
He questioned the clarity of the vision of the NDC, calling it blurry.
Our opponents have a very blurred vision, that they really don't know where they want to take us. They are announcing promises of things that we have already done. Did you hear that they want to do free Wi-Fi in senior high school? Can someone tell them that it has already been done?
The chairman of the campaign, who also acts as the campaign strategist, MP for Okre Dan Boche, says the team will ask itself very, very hard questions, cognizant of the political climate and the economic climate, to fashion out the right approach to ensure that the NPP breaks the 8.
We are conscious of the fact that we have to study the political environment. We have our history, and we are also a ruling party. And campaigning from opposition and campaigning as a ruling government, there are different approaches to it. We are very clear and we are very convinced, and we know a clear understanding of the political environment we find there. We're not going to deceive ourselves. We're going to be hard on ourselves, do very, very realistic SWOT analysis, and based on that, we shall fashion out the strategy to overcome.
With the exception of perhaps the naming of a running mate, all look set for the new Patriotic Party campaign to get into full swing, with Dr. Bawumia and his running mate at the forefront. Until then, the party says the team has already been put in place to put together its structures and the manifesto for the campaign. Duke Mentor Poku, TV3 News, Alisa Hotel, Accra.
Let's now turn our attention to the largest opposition political party. Flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, has given his strongest indication of collaborating with private schools in the provision of quality education. While addressing members of the Ghana National Association of Private Schools, NAPS, at the launch of the 2024 NAPS Week, the former president noted a future NDC government will review the 30% priority placement for senior high schools and involve private schools in the free senior high school program, among others.
Speaking on the topic, fostering educational futures, building private school sustainability through government policy synergy, President of the Ghana National Association of Private Schools, Professor Damasus Torosong, could not hide his frustration over what he believes is unfair treatment of private schools.
The Ministry of Education and its agencies do not seem to appreciate the crucial role that private schools are playing in educating the Ghanaian child. Scrap the 30% priority placement system. Government should absorb the BEC and WASI registration fees paid by private school learners. Extend the free senior high school program to private school students. Recognize low-fee private schools as social interventions aimed at educating children in deprived communities and support them as such.
Flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, while highlighting the importance of the private school system, pledged to address the challenges of the private schools.
Government and the private sector are not competitors in providing education. They are partners. My party, the NDC, recognizes the partnership with the private sector in the provision of quality education. I have said that when we come into office, we're going to involve the private schools in the free SHS program. Why would we discriminate against a child because he attended a private school? I do think that we must look at that policy again and review it so that we give fair opportunity to our children who attend private schools to also enter Category A schools.
The former president further bemoaned the neglect of basic education in favor of pre-tertiary education.
With the amount of money that we're spending on free SHS, we're neglecting the basic education. You go to the public schools, they are deprived of everything. There's not enough investment going to the basic schools.
Let us know what you make of this. The conversation is going on all social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. There's also more news if you log on to 3news.com. My name is Godwin Asideba. New Day continues right after this break. Stay with us. Bye.